We are talking with Jersey today from the WCR about what it takes to start a window cleaning business, from entry level equipment and exactly what that means, because it does mean different things to different people. We're also going to talk about more advanced setups, but more importantly, we're going to talk about the most important components of growing a successful window cleaning business, or really any home service business. So let's get into it. All right, man. Well, so thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And look, I've known you for many years. I wanted to kind of walk through your progression in the window cleaning space, because it's really interesting, and it's a path that not a lot of people took. You started a business, you grew the business, you sold the business, you consulted for the business, and then you moved into sales, and basically, being kind of the go-to guy for everything window cleaning related.
That's exactly it. I had my business for quite a while, and in that time, I purchased some businesses, and finally got to the point where I decided that I wanted to move. I talked to my crew chief or my operations officer basically, and said, "Hey, what do you think about owning a company?" And he was totally for it. We made a great deal. He started making all the money on a Monday, and I left on a Friday, and that was as simple as it was. So, consultant for them for 4 years. Year one's the hardest, year two's less, and so on. And started kind of doing sales with WCR, started another company in North Carolina, decided I couldn't do all of these hats all at one time. So I decided to get more into the sales side. And then from that, I started my podcast, and then got even heavier into sales, become head of sales, and then bought the magazine, American Window Cleaner magazine, after that. So I'm still in the industry more than I ever was. I just am in different aspects of it, basically.
Okay, one other thing, real quick. If you've got a window cleaning business, pressure washing business, or any home service business, and you're looking for a way to keep track of your customers, organize your finances, know your numbers, send estimates, invoices, we're doing a $1 deal in Quote IQ for the first month, any tier, even the ultimate tier, with InstaQuote, InstaSchedule, as well as a ton of other amazing features that are not available in any other CRM. Check it out at myquoteiq.com. So the WCR Nation podcast, great information. You've got great people on all the time, tons of value. So if anybody's interested, where can they find that?
Yeah, so that's anywhere podcasts are found. Also on YouTube, if you decide to watch my ugly mug.
Okay, well, that's cool. And then you also mentioned the magazine. So
Yeah.
you and I have talked about the magazine in the past. I get the magazine. It's a great resource, tons of great information. How did that come about? Because that's way outside of the traditional, hey, I'm a window cleaner, now I'm a sales guy, now I
Yeah.
own a magazine. How did that
Yeah.
happen?
Media and content is, I mean, as you know, content is all absorbing. There's just so much stuff out there. And I got kind of hooked on the whole the first time you can help somebody is awesome. The first time somebody asks you for help and you give them an answer, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's awesome." And I kind of got hooked on that, right? So in the content, I try to do that type of thing. And it just was one of those progressions where it's like, okay, I have the digital media space. How about anything else? And then the magazine came up for sale. That was started in 1986. It kind of just was a natural progression, as weird as that sounds.
With all of that being said, we're here talking about how to start a window cleaning business, and you've done it, you've grown it, you've sold it. And you've got the experience of somebody that is working with the equipment, right? The tools every single day, from the bare bones stuff, which is what I want to talk about first, to the ultimate window cleaning stuff. What's the average cost, the lowest cost you can get in, and what are the things that you need just to get started and go out there and start making money?
Yeah, it's actually really low cost of entry. I mean, like anything you can get into it crazy. I mean, there's people that come in and go, "Hey, I got $20,000. What can we get?" I guess if that's what you want to do. But all you really need is a scrubber, squeegee, bucket, and some towels. So I mean, for $100 from Home Depot, you're in it. It's not the best equipment. It's not a long-term thing potentially, but it'll get you in there and kind of making money. And that's the hardest part of starting any kind of business. Is there's so many people that, especially that watch you, they may watch stuff that you put out for 2 years before they actually do something, because they want it to be the right time. They want it to do whatever. And man, for $100, go out there and get the equipment you need, and now you're a business. You could literally start, and that's the hardest part.
Right. Well, and it's that analysis by paralysis. I don't know how many times we're talking about, the CRM, Quote IQ, or we're talking about, whatever the training is, and we hit them with an email, and they're like, well, I'm not ready to do it yet. I need to form my LLC, and I need to talk about insurance, and I need to do this. It's like, Yes, you do need to do all of that. But the more that you talk about it and think about it, the less time that you're actually going to implement and get started.
Yeah.
People, I was talking, I can't remember who it was, but someone was saying, and it was great. It was like nobody was ever on their deathbed and they said to themselves, man, I really remember when I thought about starting this, or I thought about doing this, or I thought
Yeah.
about going here. They don't.
Yeah.
They talk about these are the things that I did. These are the things that I was passionate about. And I'm glad that I did these things. And that goes with business. That goes with life, right? Just go for it, right? That's what I say.
Yeah.
But yeah, analysis by paralysis is probably one of the biggest stumbling blocks and hurdles that people need to get over. But so I know that you sell like the Jersey trad kit, right? Entry level for the most part. I think it's probably got really nice stuff because that's what you guys sell. What does something like that cost?
Yeah, so that kit's all the stuff that I like. So after all the years of using stuff, that's what I picked out. So that kit's like $550, right? That is the stuff that I think you not even need but want to have in window cleaning, and it's the best of the stuff that I like. So not the most expensive, but the best. So that's kind of on the upper side in the traditional, but again, for 500 bucks, you're in it. What other business can you start for that price point? It's still inexpensive to get in, even to get in really well.
As far as like the marketing of a brand new window cleaning business, I know you guys have a lot of resources that you provide as far as postcards and all kinds of templates and things like that. What was your go-to when you first started? How were you getting those first customers? And were you focusing on commercial or were you doing residential?
Man, yeah. So there's a new trend happening now where a lot of people, there's some guys on TikTok who actually are doing door to door. That's a big thing, and everybody's watching it, and it's kind of turned into this thing. So you're getting a lot of young people that are getting into the industry, and that's where they're seeing a lot of the stuff, and they're going, "Oh man, I can go in." And these guys are saying, "Hey, you can make $30,000 a day, and you can get into it." So a lot of people are doing that for that instant kind of go. I sell a job, I have a job. But there's the opposite side of it too. Is if you're building a business, like building a business, that long term is more important. So getting out there again, best case scenario is you have $1 million in your pocket, do everything you possibly can, but you can only do what you can afford at the time. And I mean, I imagine that's how you got into business too. We all start with like not the best equipment, not the, newest car that's wrapped and, you got low. I mean, you start where you can afford. Some people can afford more, some people can afford less. Doesn't change your hustle. It doesn't change how fast you can grow a business. It just changes how you start. Right. So in the very beginning, you're looking at more, I have more time than money. Right. So flyers, door hangers, that type of thing. If anybody knows any of my stuff, I do not like door knocking. No one who owns a house or has a house has ever been happy that some stranger showed up to sell them something. It just starts the whole conversation off poorly. So I'm not a huge fan of that, but it is the fastest way, right? So doing door hangers or, getting a website up or doing Facebook, you can do a Facebook group for $0 and get some traction, right? You can start commenting and talking to people in different groups without selling or being spammy. You can do all those different things, and those are all low cost or very inexpensive. Then you get into like EDDM, right? Mailing programs with the post office and blanket programs. You get into SEO if you have a website. SEO is by far the best thing you could ever do for a business, I think, but that costs money. Having a website built costs money, right? So all of those things where people are like, well, I really want to do this and this and this. And do you think I should? Well, yeah, if you have the money, do it all. You want to be everywhere and you want to be the McDonald's. I mean, there's not somebody over 2 years old that doesn't know what a McDonald's is, but they advertise in every magazine and, TV, radio, they're everywhere because they have to stay relevant. So the more you can do, the better, but you have to work with what your budget is and where you're at. Once that reinvesting happens, that's like, okay, like you said, go get the gear. You start, maybe you don't have a website, maybe you don't have anything, but I went and made 200 bucks. Well, guess what? Now I can buy better gear, or I can buy shirts, or I can get magnets made for my car, or I can get XYZ. Then I go out tomorrow and I make $500. Well, now I got $500 to reinvest, right? So it's expensive starting a business, but that reinvesting has to happen by making money, not just spending it. And the faster you can get to doing everything and doing it well, the better off you are.
It's crazy. It's the short term and then the long term plays as far as your marketing strategies go. And people are like, should I do this or should I do that? And the answer is no. You do both, right?
Yeah.
And then you do this and this and this. When you see commercial fishermen, they're not out there with a rod and a reel, right? They're casting these giant
Yeah.
nets and they're dragging and they're picking up a bunch of fish, and that's what we want to do. We need as many eyeballs on our business as possible because those potential leads turn into customers and those customers pay us, and that's what we need to reinvest. And that's
Yeah.
something that I think also a lot of guys don't think about, right? It's like cash, 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 go buy, tires for your truck instead of let's reinvest.
I
And
I
that's one of
actually
the
have a funny thing about that real quick. When I sold my company to the guy, great guy, but he told me, he goes, "Hey man, I got great news for you." This is a week later. I came in just to say hi. He's like, "Dude, I picked out a new Harley, man. It's so awesome, dude. We're closing on Friday on this Harley." And I said, "Wow, that's you just bought the business." He's like, "Yeah, well, now I'm making all this money." I'm like, winter's coming. Like, like equipment's not going to be there. You bought equipment that was used and all this stuff. And I actually talked him out of buying a new Harley, and thank goodness, because his first winter was pretty rough. So it happens. It's easy. It's easy to
Oh, it's
do.
easy to do. I know a guy who went and quoted, it was a big school job, like college, and it was like 80 grand or 85, whatever it was. It was a big, big thing. He got so excited because he knew that he was going to get it. He went and bought his wife a Mustang, didn't get the job. Now he had,
Oh,
a big payment. Like, no, wait, don't count your chickens before they hatch, right? Or
no.
whatever the saying is. So we talked about the low end. You can get in. Then what's the next step? Obviously, efficiency is king. And I
Yeah.
know in the window cleaning world, there are two segments, right? There's the traditional guys, and then there's the water fed pole guys. And they seem to kind of butt heads, disagree on what's the fastest, most effective, and efficient way to do things. I won't ask your opinion because I know you sell both. But for somebody like myself that maybe has a pressure washing business, wants to add window cleaning, what would be the next step after you get your bucket, your squeegee, your mop, and the bare minimum?
Well, I'll say, water fed it's a tool, right? So you can't use it in someone's living room, but it is the fastest and easiest way to kind of get into window cleaning, especially if you're a pressure washer getting into it. You can buy a system where you don't have to learn a new craft. You don't have to worry about streaks and smears and that you have to go back and do it and then frustrate yourself and not do it. So it's a lot faster to get there, but it costs more, right? So I always compare it to a surface cleaner, right? If you're running a wand and you are doing a driveway, you can get it done and you can get it done for cheap because you probably already have that. But you can also have a flat surface cleaner, right? You can get one that is set up the right way. You can get one that, if your system allows, a bigger one and gets it done faster, right? So there's more efficient ways to kind of do it. And your results are way better with a flat surface cleaner, right? Your speed is way better. The fatigue on you is way better. Just all of it is a lot faster and better, but there's that equipment. So it's that same thing. If you have the money to invest, you can get into waterfed. And again, you can get into a package with everything you need, start to finish, for like a single user, say 30 feet high, for like 3 grand, which to a window cleaner who buys a $50 squeegee is a lot. But to a pressure washer who, for my company, we had backup units that were, an $1,800 portable that we just had because if a system went down, I needed it, and that would sit on a shelf. It's a different money thing. There's guys out there with trailers that are nicer than my house, that light up at night, so you're used to spending kind of money you're investing. So you kind of already understand it. And 3K in that end is really just kind of a drop in the hat.
Okay, and since we're talking about water fed poles, I actually had a crazy thing happen the other day. A customer asked about the cleaning process, asked if we were using squeegees, and I said no, that we'd invested in water fed poles, which speeds up the process, gives better results, and it uses pure water to clean the windows. And she said, "Oh, are you going to be using my water?" And I said, "Well, yeah, of course, we're going to use your water to clean your windows." And she said, "Well, then do I get a discount?" And obviously, the answer is no. And we hear this a lot in the pressure washing world. It's annoying, but it's something that you're going to run into. And if you want a free download of exactly how I address this, as well as something that you can take, copy and paste into an email or a text and send it to your customers, that 99.9% of the time is going to resolve that question, put it to bed, end of discussion, move on. I'll put a link down below. It's a free download, and I really hope it helps. I see a lot of parallels between like basically all home service industries, right? Because
Yeah.
what people get hung up on is the cost a lot of times. And yes, I get it. When I was first starting out, a $3,000 window cleaning setup, that was a significant chunk of change, right?
Yeah.
Now, after you've built your business for a while, I look at that as like, okay, I know that we do a church every year and we charge them $13,000 to clean the windows, right? I buy
Yeah.
that setup one time and it's paid for the first day and a half of that church job.
Yeah.
And we do that church job 10 times as fast as if we were out there trying to do it with, a squeegee and a mop. And
Yeah.
so I always say, what's it take? Like how many house washes does it take to pay for this piece of equipment? How
Yeah.
many driveways does it take to, and when you wrap your head around it like that, then you're like, you know what? It's really not that much money. And it goes back to reinvesting in your business. And that's the people that are here 3, 5, 10 years later. Those are the people that get it. The guys that buy a bunch of equipment and then, don't work intelligently, don't run their businesses intelligently, they're gone. Right. And
Yeah.
then you get to buy their equipment for pennies on the dollar on Facebook Marketplace.
I'll touch too on that. When you're saying investing too, that's really a smart way to say it, because when you're when you're new in business, the only mindset you have is a consumer mindset. If I go and buy a $2,000 TV, or we'll say $3,000 TV, it sits on a wall. It's always becoming less valuable until it just isn't, right? So if I have that TV, it's a big decision that I want to spend $3,000. But if I'm going to buy a system that allows me to double my work, right now I can do pressure washing and window cleaning. That $3,000 is not, I'm not spending $3,000. I'm investing $3,000, right? You know this as much as anybody, but the money, we all have stocks, or at least somebody who probably owns stocks, right? That's me taking my hard earned money and going, hey, Apple, I think you're doing great work. Here is my money. I would like a piece of Apple because I know that you're doing so well. I'd like to make some money on that. And everybody is okay with that. Everybody. I mean, to the point of people put their entire retirements in other people's businesses, right? And they're absolutely okay with letting them, oh, they'll do great. They'll do great. And sometimes the market's up and sometimes the market's down. But a lot of times people forget that you could take that money and invest in yourself, which is corny. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you can invest it in yourself, in your business. And I tell you what, if I gave you $10,000 and said, I want to put this in your company right now, you could take that 10K, knowing what you know and what your split test is and your marketing that you've done, take 10K, put it into a marketing that you know is doing something, and your returns on that are going to be multiples of it, as opposed to if I go in and I can make 3% on a stock. Wow, that's great, right? I can put in $100 and I can make an extra, $3. But we're talking about multiples. I could put in that $10,000 and I could get you $30,000 worth of new work if your marketing's on point. That investing is on a whole nother side, right? So people are a little bit scared to spend money, but if you've been in business long enough, you can see it as an investment into making more money. This is how these companies that go so fast, and all of a sudden you're like, these guys started when I do, they're making millions. How, they must be lucky. They must be in the right area. Their daddy must have money, whatever it is. They're taking that money, they're investing back in themselves, and they're not buying Mustangs. So that's gonna be
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's something that I preach all the time. Invest in yourself, invest in your business through education. And it doesn't always have to be a financial investment, right?
Not at all.
There is a ton of information. Like I know that you do consulting calls, right? As part of, your position with WCR, where you will walk people through the things that they need to know so they
Yeah.
don't make poor decisions, right? And so that's an investment in yourself, your education, the education and your business. I also think that investing, like I have got, I've spent a ton of money on educating myself, right? With
Yeah.
our software. I'm not a tech guy, right? I know that there are tons of things that I don't know. And I know there are people that do know that. I also know that the people that do know that, they want to be compensated for their knowledge, right? And I'm
Yeah.
willing to pay it because I'm not having to figure it out all on my own. I will pay somebody to learn from them because I
Yeah.
trust that they have already, they've proven themselves. And so, find somebody that you trust that has a proven track record, and don't be afraid to spend a little bit of money to get better, to shortcut your learning curve, because
Yeah.
doing it the hard way, That ain't the right way. And I did it the hard way, right? I went to the internet forums. This is before Facebook,
Yeah.
and I got beat down because I thought I knew it all. I was a
Yeah.
cocky young guy, and I was going to do it my way instead of listening and
Mhm.
learning from the older guys that had been there, had done that. Then you can take it, then you can improve it, you can get better, and then you can become the one that can help other people grow. So that's just my little soapbox about investing in yourself and not being afraid to write the check.
Conventions and shows and watching stuff like what you have, it's incredibly entertaining, but you don't go there to watch it as an entertainment. It's part of that. It's also getting your brain into it. It's picking up every little thing and seeing something happen or understanding a concept or I mean, anything that you do to advance yourself intellectually in the same industry is going to advance you more than the next guy.
Right, absolutely. And also there are tax write-offs when you do go to conventions.
Yeah.
There are lots of advantages not only to the betterment of your business, but also, Uncle Sam allows you to write some of this education off. I guess with all of that being said, I think we had a lot of great value. People that are just starting out, you kind of got understanding of some of the stuff that you need, and then as you grow and you invest back into the business, the things that you can use to get more efficient. What words of advice do you have for somebody that maybe is just starting out, or maybe they're thinking about adding window cleaning to your repertoire? What can you tell somebody to kind of set them in the right direction and give them a little bit of a head start?
The one thing that you can do and anybody can do, and it doesn't matter if you got daddy's money or not, is hustle. Like the hustle in you, like the fire that burns, the passion, understanding that you're working hard. That is what separates a company that's good from a company who's not. The hardest thing that I ever say to anybody that really kind of doesn't always make people happy is the companies that go under. The companies that, and this could be in restaurants, you see restaurants go under, you see all this other stuff. The reason it happens is not because of the economy or because of the president or because of the fill in the blanks. What it is because of the owner, and the owner somehow didn't either pivot, they didn't become knowledgeable enough, they didn't see the writing on the wall, they allowed it to fail. If a restaurant goes under in a town, there's hundreds of other restaurants and they're all going. So it's not the market, it's not the people, it's not the town, it's them. And that's the same thing on the opposite side. When you see companies that are blowing up and you're just like, man, dude, I love everything about that company. Their branding is on point. The people are awesome. I can't believe the size of this company. It's awesome. You see these brag pictures of these guys. There's 30 techs out in front of these brand new trucks. It's awesome. It gets you fired up. That guy is not necessarily always in a better market or always in an area where something got lucky. Yeah, there's luck, but there's also hustle. I know a lot of guys whose companies are phenomenal and they just didn't take paychecks for a year. They didn't sleep more than 5 hours. Like they put in so much time and effort and hustle and movement and knowledge that no one could have caught them.
Those are words to live by. And again, thank you for coming on. If anybody wants to get in contact with you, it's Jersey at windowcleaner.com, right?
Yep.
Go to the WCR website, windowcleaner.com. And again, like, how the hell do you get that website? That was that was a good move, right?
It was a good one. It was a good one.
Yeah, right. And again, Jersey, thank you so much. Appreciate you. And everybody, have a great day.